Hi, in this video we are going to use there was and there were with expressions of quantity. The objective that we have for this lesson is to use there was and there were to express where things were and to express quantity. Remember, to express existence, that's what we do with there was and there were in the past, and to express where things were and express quantity. All right, that's what we're going to do. Let's see some expressions of quantity. You are already familiar with them, but let's review some of them. All right. To talk about something singular, we may use a or an, like an apple, a fridge, an apple. One, we can use numbers, 1, 2. So that is very simple ways to express quantity, just with numbers or with a or an. And we also have some other expressions, some words that can help us express quantity, not necessarily saying specifically how many or using numbers. So sometimes we may use much. Much we use for singular things, for non-count things, for uncountable nouns, like when we say much sugar, much milk. We can use many when we are able to express some quantity that refers to something plural, like many friends, many people, many computers, many pencils, etc. So after many, we have nouns that are plural. When we are not talking about a large quantity, but a small one, we can use little for singular nouns and few or a few for plural nouns. All right. For negations and sometimes for questions, we may use any. Like when we say, I don't have, there weren't any people in the concert or at the concert. Or were there any people at the concert? We use any for negations and for questions. I'll show you some examples in a moment. And we may use some also to talk about countable and uncountable nouns. And we can use them with there were and there was. And there was and there were. So let me show you some examples, because just seeing them isolatedly, it is hard for us to really grasp their meaning. So let me show you some little examples with those. We're not going to practice with and or numbers because that is basic, but let me show you the ones that I am interested in you to reinforce their use. There wasn't much money left after we paid our assistants. If you're hiring somebody to help you, you can say there wasn't much money. So because money is not something that we can count, we use that as a singular form. We can count the bills and we can count the coins, but not money in itself. We don't say, I have one money, two monies. No, I have pesos, but I don't have many two monies. I have 2 pesos, but I know I don't have 2 monies, right? There were many old dollar bills at the exhibit. Dollar bills. So I can count dollar bills, but not money. So we say there were many. All right. There were many old dollar bills at the exhibit. There was little light in the room. There was, we use singular because light is singular. And for that we use little. Little because we cannot quantify light. Since there were eggs, we boiled them and ate them with just a little salt. There were eggs, so we're not saying the quantity. We could say there were many eggs or 2 eggs. We boiled them and ate them with just a little salt. I'm interested in showing you a little salt. So it is just some quantity that is not expressed in some ways that we can count. All right. Were there any volunteers at the event? So any is a quantifier that we use in questions. Were there any volunteers? And for this, we could say there wasn't any if we're talking about expressing the idea of singularity there. There wasn't any, or we could say there weren't any. The idea is that we use any for negations. We could say there weren't any volunteers at the event, or there wasn't any volunteer at the event. As you can see, any we can use before singular or plural nouns. Those are the quantifiers that I would like for you to practice using from now on every time you're using there was and there were. For now, I would like for you to practice 3 particular quantifiers, and they are any, few, and little, particularly a few or a little. So I have this practice activity for you. Complete the following sentences with any, a few, or a little. Remember, any we use for questions and negations. A few, we use it for things that we can count, and a little for things that we can't count. All right? Think about the answers for a moment, and I will show them to you in a moment. Practice, pause the video, and complete the practice activity, please. All right, I hope that you do have your answers, and here are the ones that I propose to you. Question: were there any chairs left at the concert? Any chairs, because it's a question. Was there any homework in our math class? Because it's a question. That's what I would like to reinforce. There were a few new girls, because we can count the girls. There were a few new girls in the school choir today. There was a little bread, because we can't count the bread. We can count loaves of bread, but not bread itself. So that we use an uncountable expression. A little bread for you at the table, but you didn't see it. I'm just helping you review your past simple here. At the end of the day, there weren't any coins left in my pocket. Any coins. We can count the coins. We can't count money, but we can count the coins or the denominations, let's say. All right? And we use any for negations here. All right? Thank you for having reviewed the answers with me. And here I have one more practice activity. One simple practice activity. Write sentences using there was and there were, and the nouns and expressions of quantity provided. You can pluralize the nouns if you like. So you already have the quantity, the expressions of quantity before. I'm giving you these nouns here, all right? And here they are: salt, bag, bottle, candle, and cheese, all right? So with these nouns, please write sentences using there was and there were, and the expressions that you already know for quantity. All right, go ahead, pause the video, complete the activity. All right, thank you. I hope that you did complete the activity, and here I have some sample answers for you. There was a little salt on the counter. Yes. There was a purple bag on the table. Ah. There weren't any bottles of juice in the fridge. There weren't any candles on the night table. Practicing the negation there. There were a few slices of cheese in the cheese tray. Right? A tray where you put different sorts, different types of cheese, and there were a few slices. You can count the slices. You can't count the cheese, but you can count the slices of cheese. All right? I hope that your answers are correct. And now you are ready for the main activity of this lesson. And the final one. These are the instructions. You and your family were on vacation, staying at a furnished apartment they rented for a month. Vacation, furnished apartment means that it included all the furniture, like tables, all the conveniences that you need in an apartment to live. You were in charge of the initial inventory of things in the apartment, so you took pictures of each room. So the day you arrived, you took pictures of the room, and you already know what was there, or what things there were there. Use there was and or there were to write a list of the furniture in each room. Remember that we were going to talk about the location of things. In each room, when you arrived, in order to help your parents with the final checkout inventory. So when you arrive, you took pictures and you know what there was or what there were, what things there were. And now you're going to compare. Let's see if we have everything that we need to return, let's say, so that we can leave and check out of the hotel, of the place. All right? So imagine all that and see what things you could say that there was in that hotel when you first took pictures. All right? Complete the activity, pause my video, and I will show you some sample answers in a moment. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much for having done that. And I hope that you have some answers of your own. You can compare them with me, of course, with mine. Of course, they're not going to be the same, but this will give you some idea of the things that you could say in an inventory when you first take pictures of a hotel, of the things in a hotel room. There was a king-size bed and 2 double beds. All right? There was a king-size bed. And you could say there were 2 double beds. All right? Some people would say there were a king-size bed and 2 double beds, but many people choose to make the verb agree with the closest noun. That's why this native speaker chose to say there was a king-size bed. All right? King-size bed is the largest bed that we can have. There were 4 lamps. That is a plausible inventory. There was 1 big mirror. There was a dining table. There were 6 chairs using numbers. There was 1 TV set. There was a remote control. There were 3 pictures on the walls. Nice. All right. So those are the sentences that this native speaker wrote, and I'm sure they may be different from yours, but these are just some reference that you can use. All right. Now I am going to pause my video so that you can listen to the pronunciation of the native speaker, and as she pronounces, you repeat after her. Go ahead. Listen and practice your pronunciation, please.
There was a king-size bed and 2 double beds. There were 4 lamps. There was 1 big mirror. There was a dining table. There were 6 chairs. There was 1 TV set. There was a remote control. There were 3 pictures on the walls.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much for having done that, for having practiced your pronunciation. And remember that in this lesson, we focused on expressions of quantity, and we had some practice activity to talk about where things were when you first arrived at a place. All right? Thank you very much for having completed the activity, and I'll see you in the next one.